All right, so let's jump into the life cycle side. And these are the 7 steps. I'm just going to walk you through them, and then we'll go into a slide for each one. But number 1 is obviously, you want to develop a strategy for the entire life cycle. And what I mean here is if you only are looking to do one, so let's say I'm here to attract as many prospects as possible, but you haven't had any data or any processes in place of how you're going to speak to those prospects, meaning, okay, now I have these leads, and even if you bought leads, what does that mean if I don't know how to respond to them, right? So you need to know how to start a conversation, qualify the leads, present your offer, address objections, close an onboard. So how are we going to now get them into being a client? And then from there, it comes down to retaining and gaining referrals. And that's more of the kind of the ongoing life cycle thing. So the goal is that when you gain a client, you want them for life, right? And the longer they're with you, the more they trust you, the more referrals they'll send. So let's jump in a little bit and kind of go through this side. So number 1, attracting prospects. And part of this is, and we're going to go to what Google says, and it's basically how do you establish your expertise? How are you an authority? And your trustworthiness, right? So there's a lot of different things that Google uses in their algorithm to determine how they decide which brands do those 3 things. And they use that then to rank your brand. But the same concept can be used with the way you think of your own marketing, right? So what am I really trying to do? Hey, I know I am an expert in this. I am better than anyone else out there. But if the world doesn't perceive you that way, you're not going to attract the prospects you want. So how do you set yourself up for that, right? So you need a website, your landing pages, your blogs, if you're using video vlogs, your social media presence, having a strong review profile on marketplaces like TaxBuzz and CountingWorks. Are you doing guest posts? Are you getting earned media? Meaning, are you being interviewed? So there's a lot of different ways that you can, reach out and kind of establish a digital footprint. And we'll go into that in a little more detail later. But that is how you start attracting prospects. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is, okay, your goal is to get these prospects, right? But the thing is you want to hit them at different moments to help influence their decisions. And what I mean by that is, someone may not be at the intent level. So sometimes people are all I just want intent buyers. And that's kind of the old world of marketing. That, I'm just looking for hot leads, and then, I will try to close it. But people don't buy that way anymore. There's, first of all, there needs to be an awareness that they have a problem, right? So now if they are aware, what do? They're going to research that problem. And at that point, hey, here's some different options. And you might be writing content, or you're doing speeches, or you're on social media talking about topics that they're looking at. And that's where you're going to be found when they're researching for that particular problem, right? Okay, I'm aware. I know I need help here. I'm running out of money, or I'm starting a business. I have no idea where to start. So they're going to start researching, how do I start a business? So are you, as a tax and accounting pro, or let's just say here as an accountant, are you creating content? Is your website, are your social media profiles being indexed when they're researching? At that point, okay, they found you. They've researched it. Now, is that providing interest? So, hey, and now I know who this brand is. I'm interested. And from that point, it's taking them from the intent stage where, okay, now I feel I have this problem. I'm ready to buy. And then we take you through kind of the onboarding, become a client, and into what we call the loyalty stage is when they've become a client, and then how do we keep them, right? So prospects are always open to influence. So we're trying to you want to develop content around this to help influence this stage. So I hope that kind of makes sense. I know these are higher level marketing things, but I think that just kind of jumping into them a little bit, I think you need to be aware of it so you understand how you should be running your own marketing. So qualified leads. And this is a big deal, especially in the internet age, because not all leads that come through the internet are who you want to talk to. And we hear a lot of pushback sometimes. Well, there's no good leads on the internet. Well, that's not true. We've seen people pick up huge clients, clients that have paid 10, 20 times the amount of, a marketing subscription with us. So the issue then is, okay, how do I take a lead? And, again, a lead is just contact information and some sort of intent. but how do I now make them a potential prospect? So, you need to establish what kind of clients am I looking for? So if I'm in a niche, am I looking for doctors, right? So you're looking for all kind of leads that are doctors, they become prospects. So, are they a certain size of is it a new medical company? Is it someone that's been established? So what I'm getting at here is, kind of come up with your own game plan. It isn't necessarily a niche, but we are looking to grow these type of customers, and then concentrate your efforts around those criteria, right? So once you qualify them, you can nurture around that. So you're going to have talking points that speak to their pain points, right? So how am I solving your problem, doctor, fitness club member, or owner, whatever it is. So that's kind of the way the whole qualify your lead side works. And I think it's very important to kind of establish that before you get too far. So section 4, presenting your offer. I think this is something that is now, I think there's more awareness on it. I've heard a little more feedback, but you want to make it easy for prospects to onboard, right? So if they're working with you, you don't want it to be all paper-based anymore. You want to make it easy. So here is my engagement letter. You sign it, right? Here's how you pay, this is how you communicate with me. This is, everything can be done online now. It can be easy. You want to take the friction away from presenting your offer and getting clients on board to work with you, right? So there's a lot of automation software, total different webcast topic, but there's a lot of different ways to do that. But definitely start looking into it. If you don't have a client portal per se, or some way to funnel the new clients. So this is totally different from establishing your digital footprint. This is, okay, now I have your attention. How am I going to take you through the process to become a client? Number 5, I think, is something people forget about. So, you need to think through what are some common objections to your pitch, right? So listen to your clients when you're talking to them. And when they do come up with whatever kind of what their perceived roadblock is, they raise an objection. Basically, we say a prospect who raises an objection is showing fear, right? So how are you going to address these fears? There's a lot of different ways. So have some data. We love case studies. We love facts. So in a perfect example for us is we did a blog article recently on our most successful tax and accounting brands, right? So customers of ours, what are they doing that are outdoing everyone else, right? And these are people that have literally thousands of visitors to their websites. They're getting hundreds and hundreds of leads and actually converting them to clients. So what are they doing differently? So if you can have that kind of data and kind of show your prospect how you're going to make their lives better, it makes it much easier for you to convert them, right? And we always say the best way to do this is to use 5-star reviews to let your clients do the selling for you. And a recent chat, we were talking about this subject, and what was interesting is someone said, well, yeah, Yelp gets me, there's one review on Yelp that it almost every single time they'll even reference that review when they call me, and Yelp's getting me all this business. I'm like, well, no, Yelp is a place where someone has found you, but that review is getting you the business. So the deal is not Yelp per se. It's any review. So Google My Business, TaxBuzz, CountingWorks, Yelp, all of these, you want to have strong profiles on all of them. But the more important part is the client's story, the client doing the selling for you is more impactful than anything you can write on a website or any marketing copy. So I think that's kind of an important thing to think about, but use those as tools to help you address objections as you go through. All right, so close and onboard. We don't want them to feel after they've decided to work with you to be all of a sudden you're non-responsive, right? You're not addressing or making it easy as they walk through. So humans want to feel good about their purchase choices, right? So after I've said, hey, I'm going to work with you, you want every single step after that decision to be perfect. So you want to have a lot of processes in place. You want to make sure everyone from the front office through the partners are on board and following a very similar deal. So we want them to feel like they made the right decision. This is going to be important on how much they trust you, right? How much they're going to worry, how easy it is for you to get them to do what you think, they should be doing these things. I think a lot of the onboard experience is going to assist you to have better relationships, but more importantly, it's easier for them to then become influencers, right? So if they have a very strong beginning with you, a lot of times right out the back, these clients will refer you to other people. You're fresh on their mind. They feel like they're validating their own decision. So if you really come through here and overperform, it's a great way to start the relationship. We've found through other clients' experiences, the better they are at this, the more referrals they're going to get. So that leads into the retain and gain referrals, right? So that's kind of my point is, if now you've sold them, you've done the work, they're happy, how do you continue to engage that client? So you don't want to just be there one time and then disappear, right? The common things are, so what does that mean? How do I retain and gain referrals? Well, you're active on social media, so you're communicating where they are, right? That's push technology. You're able to push your message and your brand in front of them. You have an email newsletter, you have a blog. And what that does is it makes it very easy for your clients to actively talk up your firm, right? And that becomes a grade A referral. That's what you're looking for. So if you can take as much risk out of the referral process, so meaning that you are showing by your actions, you're responsive, your trustworthiness, your authority, because you're putting out all this great content on life cycles and how to start a business and cash flow and all those things, that is going to help you retain more clients, right? So there's ways. We have our system does this, but you can put client retention on autopilot, right? So we literally have a system. Our platform does everything for you. It writes the content. It auto publishes the blogs. It's all perfectly timely. We do social media posting. When you get reviews, we actually take those reviews and post them to your social media sites automatically. This is brilliant. I mean, we see clients all the time. I built a WordPress site and I haven't touched it since I built it. And I published 2 blog articles, but when someone goes on your site, those blog articles are from 2015 or whatever, right? So I think you get your point. But there are ways with marketing technology and automation software like ours that you can put this side of your business on autopilot. I think this is the biggest takeaway from this presentation today, is that anybody can do this. Get your client database together, get all your prospects together, and make this an active part of your business. That's a huge part of building any referral kind of business. So number 7 is a huge thing that sometimes people forget.